The progress on cleanup and remediation at the old Kerr-McGee site were two hot topics during a town hall meeting tonight here in Columbus. Thank you for joining us. I'm Quentin Smith. The Multi-State Environmental Response Trust gave residents an update about what's going on. They're currently working in the Pine Yard, which is in the northern part of the site. So far, they've cleaned up nearly 50,000 tons of creosote-contaminated soil from that area. The Multi-State Trust is also doing investigations of properties around the site. The agency says, for the most part, they haven't found any contamination present that's above the EPA's conservative action level.
We are doing planning for foundation planning for future redevelopment to evaluate things that the site would be suited for, both from an environmental contamination perspective and also from a market perspective, what businesses might be interested in the area. And we also are doing, and tonight is part of that, extensive community outreach to understand what the people that live around the site would like to see in the future once the cleanup is complete.
Now, the agency is also hosting 2 listening sessions tomorrow that will be open to the public. For more information on those sessions, just visit our website at WCBI.com. Well, teachers are angry about the latest pay raise approved by the state legislature, and now they're looking at new ways to have their voices heard. Courtney Ann Jackson explains how new survey results break down just how far they're willing to go in protest.
The Mississippi Association of Educators now has the pulse on what actions teachers are willing to take in protest of the latest pay raise.
We are disappointed. $1,500 does not prove the value.
Nakaya Beeman is one of the teachers that's decided she has to speak up if she expects change.
We cannot lose momentum again on this effort. It's an ongoing effort.
Let's dive into the survey results. There were 7 options, and the survey asked that the teachers select all actions they'd be willing to take. The most popular choice was to refuse to support businesses that donate to the campaigns of anti-public education candidates. Then participate in a 1-day statewide sick-out, and a rally at the state capitol on a Saturday before the end of this school year was also a top choice.
I feel like a lot of teachers are very protective of their jobs. They want to go back to their kids and back to the classroom without repercussions. So sick outs are a way to kind of protect their jobs without, any repercussions.
Beeman is encouraged by the movement to take action, but hopes it will result in long-term plans.
Swift action, actually jumping on the visibility of this conversation right now. I will hope that if there are 1-day efforts that they're done within the context of when the public education system is most active, while school is in, while the legislative session is in, while campaigning is going on.
MAE says these survey results are just the start. They'll be used to help guide the drafting of an organizing plan. That plan will be put in place from now through next year's legislative session. Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
New at 10 tonight, Starkville's former Parks and Recreation Director enters a plea to his part in a fraud case that shook the department. Herman Peters pleaded guilty to conspiracy to defraud the state in Oktibbeha County Circuit Court today. Peters was accused of embezzling over $21,000 between January of 2015 and November of 2017. City leaders put Peters on leave in December of 2017 and then fired him at their first meeting in 2018. Peters and 3 former Parks employees were arrested in January of 2018. Oktibbeha County Circuit Judge Lee Howard sentenced Peters to 5 years suspended, 5 years probation, and a $750 fine. Well, it is now time to turn our attention over to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by with a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Quentin, a very nice day. Our time lapse from Tupelo this evening. Our Alpha Insurance camera shows the setting sun, some wispy cirrus. A pretty nice burst of color there on the western horizon. Down into the 60s right now, fairly light wind, calm actually in downtown Tupelo. We've got low 60s in most spots here across our region. Not too bad at all. Tomorrow, passing clouds, upper 70s, low 80s, winds from the southwest at 5 to 15. No complaints here as we check out your Tuesday forecast. We will stay relatively mild for the next few days and dry, but there is some rain in the forecast. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks so much, Keith. Well, April showers bring bugs. In fact, you may already be seeing insects at your house. Our Stephanie Poole sits down with a few experts on the creepy crawlies to find out what you can do to keep the numbers down.
Spring rains are still causing problems, from floodwaters that are slow to recede to standing water. Many local yards are still wet, and that means unwelcome visitors. Due to excessive water, mosquito and fire ants will try to make your lawn their new home.
Some of them lay their eggs in dry areas and wait till we have water, like now. Others wait until water's there, but it only takes a very short period of time for mosquitoes to go through their metamorphosis and adapt. If the water has been there very long, we'll produce a lot of mosquito larvae.
Northeast Exterminating owner Richard Lindley says there are many ways homeowners can prevent mosquitoes from invading their property.
Homeowners can take a look around their homes, any source of standing water. Some areas I know are seeing larger numbers because of the flooding, and again, you've got so many different things that catch water and hold water right now.
Pouring water out of buckets and gutters will decrease the chance for larvae to develop. When fire ants are washed up from underground, you might see them building a higher mound to escape the saturated ground.
When a fire ant mound gets flooded, those ants, and there may be 100 or 200,000 ants, they tend to ball together and go floating downstream with the water, and that can result in fire ants ending up in someone's house or on someone's property where you're trying to do cleanup after a flood or a situation like that, and you get into a big ball of fire ants, and it can cause some pretty significant sting events.
Entomologist Dr. Blake Layton says using an ounce of dishwashing liquid in a gallon of water will get rid of fire ants.
That was our Stephanie Poole reporting there. Now, Lindley suggests using mosquito dunks in standing water to kill larvae before they become adults. According to online reviews, dunks are safe to use around people and most animals. Recovery continues tonight in Hamilton after an EF2 tornado struck the area just over a week ago. A lot of debris still remain, but a lot of cleanup work has already been done. Members of the community are reaching out to their neighbors who suffered damage to help them rebuild. Get this, locals are using the phrase Hamilton strong during their recovery efforts. Now, although there's still much left to do, everyone is taking things one day at a time.
You see people helping each other. I'm trying not to cry. And, you know, it's just amazing how everybody's coming together to help, you know, clean and people offering to feed you, to wash your clothes, to just everything.
Just shortly hours after the tornado, they had a large group of local people who turned out neighbor helping neighbor and friend helping friend. A lot of the work's been done by those groups, and the community's really coming together as they face the days that are ahead for them.
About 1,200 volunteers are registered to help in Hamilton. That includes locals and out-of-town organizations.
The Lyrid meteor shower should peak tonight. Now you have about an hour before the nearly full moon starts to rise up. We have some cirrus clouds out there too, so maybe not the best of viewing, but you still may see a few streak across the sky. Your forecast is next.
Past with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
We love snow around here, right? Especially when it sticks around for a couple of days to make things a little festive. But imagine this, 163 straight days with 1 inch of snow. That was the streak at Caribou, Maine. That ended today. That's almost 6 months with snow on the ground. Still some snow up there across the UP of Michigan and also across the Rocky Mountains out there in the west. But spring has sprung and we are done with winter here in the deep south. 60s and 70s across a good chunk of the southeast right now. That's our time lapse from Louisville, Mississippi today. Our Alpha Insurance Camera Network shows the setting sun. A pretty nice sunset with our time lapse this evening. All quiet here on our Monday. And we pop on over to West Alabama, a little bit of a sunset there as well. Temperatures for lows tonight down into the mid to low 50s. Pretty quiet. The wind is basically calm right now in most spots. We'll start out in the 50s on Tuesday, back into the 70s for your lunch hour. Upper 70s, low 80s our forecast in the afternoon. So all things considered, a pretty nice day for us. Probably more in the way of cloudiness overall. It could be mostly cloudy at times, but still just enough sunshine to get us into the upper 70s and low 80s. Winds a little bit stronger too from the southwest at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So there you have it on your Tuesday. A pretty nice weather day for us across the entire region. We have some building clouds back to the west. Those clouds will stream on in here later on tonight and tomorrow, so they'll thicken up a little bit, but the moisture is really going to be staying back to the west here. So as the clouds come on in, it may look ominous from time to time, but we will not have any rain through Wednesday. Thursday, we'll be watching a bigger storm complex down there to our southwest. I think the best chance for heavy rain and some strong storms will likely stay south of Interstate 20 during the day on Thursday. You can see we'll have a little bit of rain potential here, maybe a ½ inch to perhaps up to an inch, but a better opportunity along and south of I-20. Even some new data suggests that that will be the case. But Thursday afternoon, 4:30 to 6:30, we're programming weather radios again. Kroger in Starkville. We can still get storms going into May, so we're not done yet with our storm season. But this system on Thursday looks like most of the energy will stay to our south, at least the heaviest rain and that strong storm potential. That goes away. We'll see a clearing trend on Friday, and guess what? The second nice weekend in a row for your Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at low 80s, mid 80s by next week, Quentin, but overall not too bad for the next 7 days. Just some rain there Thursday night.
Action is heating up on high school diamonds all around the viewing area. Courtney has highlights coming up later in sports. Welcome back. April is National Donate Life Month, and this week in Health Talk, we're looking at the facts and dispelling the myths about organ donation.
Hi, I'm Shelley Kidder, a nurse in the Education Department at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. I am also a first responder for Mid-South Transplant Foundation. This week, we will be discussing organ and tissue donation. More than 100,000 people in the United States are waiting for an organ transplant. Someone is added to the waiting list every 10 minutes, and about 20 people die every day waiting on an organ. It can be hard to think about what's going to happen to your body after you die. But being an organ donor is a generous and worthwhile decision that can be a lifesaver. Did you know that one donor can potentially save the lives of 8 people? Unfortunately, many people do not register due to some common myths and concerns. I want to address some of them. When you go to the hospital for treatment, the doctors focus on saving your life, not somebody else's. Organ donation is consistent with the beliefs of most major religions. Many states allow people younger than 18 to register as organ donors, but the final decision will remain with the parents and legal guardian. Organ and tissue donation does not interfere with having an open casket funeral. The donor is treated with care and respect, so there are no visible signs of organ or tissue donations. Very few medical conditions automatically disqualify you from donating organs. Only medical professionals at the time of your death can determine whether your organs are suitable for transplant. If you want to be a living donor, you are no longer limited to donating only to a close family member. You can now donate a kidney, one of 2 lobes of the liver, a lung or part of a lung, part of the pancreas, or part of the intestines to a distant family member, a friend, or even a stranger. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, as we will address other myths of organ and tissue donation.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle.
The battle for a state title continues on. We'll have highlights from today's game coming up next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
Sunny skies and no rain was not only the weather, but a blessing because area teams were able to get back on the field and continue playoff action. And there was plenty of it. We'll start things off over at Trojan Field. New Hope hosting Pontotoc and trying to get the win in Game 2 of the DH. Top of the 6th. Carly Dunlap lines one out to left. McCarthy Lane and Gabby Golden come home to score, and the Warriors now leading 10-2. Shortly after, Allie Beckley knocks it right through center. A bobbled catch gets Taylor Russell home for another Pontotoc run. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Charlie Clanton smacks it out to center. Connerly Moody comes home working to close the gap from there. But the Warriors offense was just rolling. Sky Vaughn with a drive out to left center. Jaden Spears tacks on yet another run. And Pontotoc gets the win over New Hope in game 1 of the day. 14-4 going to be the final in that one. 9-8 was the final in game 3. Pontotoc takes the series 2-1. Win in advance for Water Valley, win or go home for Manatee. Blue Devils rolling. Tidarius Q. Kendall with an RBI base knocked to right. Jay McCray comes across the plate for the score. Be 11-4 Water Valley. Batachi Tech battling back. Rally caps on. Hunter West delivers with a base hit. Adam Dill and Andrew Miller come in to score a 2 RBI single for West. But the hole was just too deep. Water Valley gets the win 14-8. The Blue Devils will meet the Houston Hilltoppers in round 2. Moving to Urchin Country, East Union 1 win away from taking down Upora. Eagles up 1-0. Early defense keeping it that way. Joel Wilkinson lines one to short. Carter May with the snag, and the heads-up play to turn 2 at first. It'd be 1-2-0 after just 1. In the second, East Union pours it on. Josh Basil with a grounder to short. Throws it off at first, and the Urchins take advantage. East Union scores 6 in the bottom of the inning. Urchins get the win 14-4. East Union takes the series 2-0. Smithville 1 win away from advancing, taking on Shaw 2-0 Seminoles after 3. Todd Cowley connects right through the 5-hole at second base. Mitch Finn and Jared Johnson cruise across home plate, and Smithville going up 4-0. Not done yet in the inning. Lane Williams puts one on a rope. This one into left field. That's going to be able to score. Cowley running into home. Williams and Tucker Hood combined to pitch a no-hitter, and the Seminoles are off to round 2, defeating Shaw. The final in this one's going to be 10-0, a shutout. Smithville set to face the Pine Grove Panthers. New site at home, taking on East Webster, bottom of the first. J.A. Roberts pitching. He gives up a lead-off double to Lindsay. And then moving on, next batter, Green. This time going to line it up the middle to center. That's going to be a base hit. And then with the bases loaded and 1 out, Fitzsimmons hits one to shortstop. Tries to turn the double play, but Fitzsimmons turns on his horses. He's going to be called safe. New site will score a run, and they would go on to get the victory over East Webster. The final in this one, 5-3. The decisive game 3 will be played tomorrow. Baldwin at home hosting Calhoun City. Top of the third, Baldwin up 5-0. Battle of the Peytons. Peyton Wood pitching to Peyton Chandler, who hits one to right field for a single to start the inning for the City. Hayden Boothsome battling, and the ball gets away from the catcher. Tries to move fast, throws to second, but it goes into the outfield, bringing Chandler home for a run, making the game 5-1 Baldwin. But Calhoun City with the comeback win to close the series and advance to the next round. The final is going to be Calhoun City 12, Baldwin 6. Moorville facing elimination, taking on Ripley at home for game 2. A crazy one at that. Zach Langley gets the momentum going with the RBI ground out to take a 1-0 lead. And then in the third, Ripley's Jay Johnson with a grounder. Drew Combs later scores on a wild pitch to tie the game up. And Moorville comes back with an epic comeback and walks it off to force game 3. The final is going to be 7-5. The Tigers and the Troopers will have to fight it out on another day. That's it for sports. The last look at your weather is coming up next. Stick with us.
All right, here's our 7-day forecast. It's looking great here. We've had so much rain. I think a good chunk of the area is about 10-plus inches above average for the year, Quentin, so we'll take these drier days. There could be some rain and storms around Thursday and Thursday night, but it looks like the heaviest activity will stay to our south. We'll watch it, though. Spring has sprung, and we'll be flirting with the mid-80s by next Monday.
So we're looking at some beautiful weather today, tomorrow, and the next day.
And check out that weekend, too.
I'll be at the park.
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.